Hello everyone! Welcome to Motivation Monday! We're so happy and excited to have you here with us. Today, Tammy and I will be talking about 10 tips to calm anxiety. Let's see if Tammy is here. Hi Tammy!
Hello.
How are you?
Very good.
I'm so excited for our Motivation Monday today.
Yes, me too. Put this
So
down.
before we start, Tammy, let's introduce ourselves.
Okay.
You wanna go first?
Sure. My name is Tammy Key, and I am one of the international student advisors for Approach. And I also teach a class on motivation or psychology. And so it's good to be here with you guys today.
Awesome. Hi everyone, my name is Luciana, and I am the academic and career advisor at Approach, so I help students go to college. And I also host Motivation Mondays with Tammy here. My field is psychology, and I love talking about this with Tammy. I'm always looking forward to our reflections on Monday, Tammy.
Yes. Yes, me too.
So Tammy, we are the topic for our Instagram Live today is related to anxiety. So before we talk about the 10 tips to calm anxiety, I think it's important for us to just understand a little bit about what anxiety is and how we can
Okay.
identify anxiety in our bodies, right? So let's start with that first. If you can talk a
Okay.
little bit about what anxiety is or what an anxiety disorder is, it would be very helpful.
All right. So anxiety is a feeling of apprehension or tension in reaction to a stressful situation. There is usually nothing wrong with such anxieties. It's a normal reaction to stress. And so it's how our bodies respond to stress. But it can hinder us from functioning in our daily routine. Some people experience anxiety in situations for no apparent reason, such as the cause of some type of distress. And so that's what anxiety is. But anxiety disorder, this occurs when your anxiety rises without any type of justification, and it begins to affect people's daily function. And so say you were afraid of taking tests, right? So the cause would be failure. You would be afraid of failing your exam. And that could be due to lack of preparation, or it could be poor testing history. And so this would give you, would help your body to respond to anxiety. Some of the physical symptoms, the physical symptoms could be sweaty palms, your heart is racing, you feel like you're suffocating, or you could have a heaviness in your chest, right? Or you have to go to the bathroom. And so those are some of the physical effects that you can have from anxiety.
And Tammy, just so we can understand a little bit better, I feel like a lot of us, especially in times like this, we feel anxious more often than usual because of everything that is happening, right?
Yes.
You mentioned a little bit about anxiety disorders, right? How do I know if I just have anxiety because of what we're currently living, or if that would be diagnosed as an anxiety disorder?
So a lot of us feel anxiety when we worry about things. And so if it's an everyday, if you're just worried about your finances, or you're worried about passing that exam, then you know that that's just anxiety from everyday occurrences. But if you have anxiety disorder, then you're going to have some other symptoms. You're not going to be able to sleep, right? So then you're going to have insomnia. Your constant worry is you're always worrying about that one thing and you just cannot shake that, then you would need to go and meet with a psychiatrist so that you can be diagnosed with anxiety disorder. And then they can help you, put you on a treatment path to help you manage your anxiety.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting, Tammy. And I think it's also important that we mention here, because if you're watching us here from the United States, there might be a different course of treatment in your home country. If you're, I mean, if you're watching us from outside, it might be a different course of treatment. But if you're here in the United States, Tammy, maybe you could just say it again. If I feel that anxiety is really affecting me on my day-to-day activities, what should I do if I'm here in the United States?
Well, the first thing you should do is you should speak with your primary care doctor. And then your primary care doctor will be able to refer you to a psychiatrist who will then look at you, and they'll probably ask you a bunch of questions, and then they will diagnose you with anxiety disorder. There are a large number of people that are diagnosed with anxiety disorder every day. And so it is a disorder that does need treatment, because you want to be mentally and physically healthy. Mm-hmm. And if you have anxiety, you're not getting sleep. You're probably not eating the right amount of foods. You're probably feeling down because you're concentrating on your problems. So you will need to seek help.
I see. Yeah, that's very helpful, Tammy, to know, because especially because we're talking to an international population, sometimes we can see that in some cultures, anxiety is not something that would be diagnosed, or it could be seen as a taboo, right?
Yes. A lot of people see different cultures think of any type of disorder or any type of mental illness as taboo. The same with depression. They see it as taboo, but it's not taboo. It's real. And when you have real anxiety, you really need to seek help so that someone can help you with that.
Yeah, so it's a real thing. And if you feel like this is disrupting your day-to-day life, it's always important to get diagnosed so you can get help with that.
You can get the help that you need, yes.
And Tammy, before we go to the 10 tips to calm anxiety, is there anything you want to say about the symptoms before, or we're good?
So you can have physical symptoms and you can have emotional symptoms. Emotional symptoms could have you feeling sad. It could have you feeling very anxious. And then you can also have behavioral and cognitive, your thoughts. So you can't concentrate on anything. And so those are some of the other symptoms that someone would display if they had anxiety disorder.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So I think it's always important for us to bring out information. So if you are feeling some of those things, so you can look for the right help for you and help you get out of that zone. Yeah. And also, so today specifically, Tammy and I will be talking about some tips to help you cope with anxiety. And
yes,
maybe you can start with that, Tammy. And
sure.
Before we start, actually, I do want to say, if you have some pen and paper nearby, if I were you, I would write these tips down, because it's always nice to have it written down on a paper, because sometimes if you notice in your body that you start experiencing that, you have a little paper with some tips to help you cope with that. So here are some tips on how you can cope with anxiety. So hopefully this will help you during this time.
So the first tip is you want to take time out for yourself. And so you want to practice some yoga, listen to some music. You want to meditate. right? So you want to change the way you're thinking. And we know that if we practice yoga or any type of meditation, it calms us down because now we're refocusing and we're centering on ourselves, right? The
Yeah.
second tip, did
Maybe
you want to add, Lou?
I just wanted to add something. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is that something that I always mention, I use an app that is
Mm-hmm.
called Down Dog, DOWN, dog. That
Mm-hmm.
to me, I use it every day, and it's nice because you can choose if you want to be like beginner, intermediate, or advanced. If you want to do 5 minutes of yoga, 12, 20, 40, you can choose. The basic version is free, so that's something that you can do. That I do it for myself every day.
Okay.
And also in terms of meditation, Tammy, I would say that even breathing exercises sometimes help a lot, right?
Mm.
Uh,
Yes,
a specific
yes.
a specific breathing exercise that I use it for myself a lot is that when you inhale, let's say you inhale in 5 and you exhale in 7. So that means
Yes.
that your exhale will be a little bit longer than your inhale. And that kind of sends a
Mm.
signal to your brain that it's time for you to relax.
Relax. Very good. That's a good tip.
Tammy,
The second,
Mustafa is saying that running in the morning makes me happy and more optimistic.
very good.
Very nice.
Running, any form of exercise,
Yeah.
um, eating a well-balanced meal. Do not skip any of your meals. This helps you to keep healthy. And you want, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to boost your energy level. And so try eating healthy snacks that will help boost energy. You want to limit your alcohol and caffeine intake. These can um, these can trigger your anxiety, and they can also trigger a panic attack. And so you want to avoid caffeine and alcohol.
And I do want to include, just add something here, Tammy, that
Hmm.
maybe sometimes you don't even think about it, but when you drink coffee, you see that you get a boost of energy, right? But
Yes,
if you are already feeling anxious and you get a cup of
yes,
coffee, your anxiety level will rise a lot. And
through
I
the roof.
notice this with me a lot. If
Hmm.
the days that I'm anxious that I drink coffee, that this happens. If you, like me, really like to drink coffee, you can buy decaf coffee. So you still have the
Yes,
little taste, but you're not putting caffeine in your body that could help
yes,
you trigger the anxiety.
yes, very good. Thank you for that tip. Um, you want to you want to make sure that you get enough sleep. When we're stressed, your body needs additional sleep and an additional rest. And so this is very good. Um, this is, so you have to make sure that you're getting the right amount of sleep. And I think I mentioned our circadian rhythm, that is our internal clock. And if we throw that clock off, it throws off our whole system. And so when we have anxiety, when we're stressed, we throw that system right off. And so by getting the proper amount of rest and the proper amount of sleep will help reset that clock. And it will help you as well.
Yeah.
Exercise daily.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I wanted to add, in terms of the sleep, the importance of creating a routine before you go to sleep too, right? So
Mm-hmm.
try not to eat too late. Try to eat a little
Mm-hmm.
bip earlier. Turn
Yes.
off the lights. Try not to look at your phone or news before bed. Because can you imagine
Yes.
looking at the news of everything is happening before bed? That will throw you to maybe much more anxiety, right?
Yes.
And I see
Yes.
that Gabby's here. She said, I miss you all. And
We
I
miss you
think
too.
Gabby shared a tip that she does, that she keeps her phone outside of her bedroom.
Yes.
So that's very
Yes.
helpful too, right? Because
It is.
you don't have the urge to, let me just check something here.
Yeah,
So it's outside
exactly.
of your bedroom.
It's away from you. And the
Yeah.
blue lights that our devices give off, they wake you up at night. And so if your phone is in your room, just turn it off completely, right?
Yeah. Very important.
Exercise is another one. You want to make sure that you are, daily exercise helps you to feel good and it helps you to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And so do some exercises when you're feeling anxious or when you're feeling worried, because when you're exercising, you're only thinking about the present. And so you're thinking about completing that workout. And so switch up your routine and do an exercise. And one
And
of the things that, go ahead.
sorry, Demi. I keep thinking of things too that when we're talking about exercise, it's also important for us to choose what type of exercise would fit us best for the moment. Because, for instance, if you are feeling anxious, maybe a HIIT workout is not going to be the best for you, or running, you know, but maybe you can choose yoga because it will help you calm yourself down, or you can put some music that you enjoy. So always noticing your body before choosing a workout. Maybe you just want to go for a 30-minute walk outside and get some sunlight, right?
Yes, yes, very good. Thank you. As Luciana had mentioned previously, taking deep breaths, inhale and exhaling slowly, right? That will help to de-escalate. That will help calm you down. Counting to 10 slowly, right? And then repeating and then counting to 20. Because what you're doing is you're giving yourself time to bring yourself back down to a calm state. When you have anxiety, it can make you feel very, very anxious, like you want to do something, but you can't. And so by counting, that will help that subside and it will help it go away.
And that's so interesting, Tammy, because that can kind of, you can combine that into a breathing exercise. Maybe we can do a breathing exercise at the end so we can see. Because by counting, even if you want to use your hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, because you're giving your mind something to focus rather than all the thoughts that are in your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yes. Yep. And when you're working, if you're taking a test, whatever you're doing, you want to do your best. And so instead of aiming for perfection, which is impossible, be proud of how close you come to getting it. All right. That also helps with anxiety.
Even sometimes, even writing down the things that you did or you're proud of yourself, you know, can be very helpful.
Very helpful. Lou. That was for you.
I will.
Oh, someone is saying something, but I can't read for some reason. Being a single.
Being a single all your life, doesn't it bring depression or anxiety? Or can the person live without a girlfriend in his life? I live in Egypt, and as a married people, they say that marriage is bad because of responsibility and stress.
No. So being married, and I've been married now going on 37 years now.
Wow. That's a long time.
And so it's a very long time. And so people sometimes they get married too soon and they don't get to know the person that they're marrying. And so if you know your partner before you're married, then you don't have to worry about the stress and that comes along with being married. If you're friends and then you get married, you know each other. And so once you know a person, you know how to live with that person. And so that's what makes, and you have to communicate within your marriage. Being married is a wonderful thing. And so marriage is not a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing. And so there are some people who choose to be married, and then there's some people who choose to live by themselves. I have a sister-in-law who lives by herself. She's not depressed. She doesn't have worried. She's not worried. She enjoys her solitude. And this is what she's chosen for herself. And so it depends on the individual. Some people do not want to have a partner. Some people want to have a partner. So it's an individual situation. And so everybody's situation is totally different. So I hope I answered his question.
Yeah. And I think this also, your comment, Tammy, I think it brings to the next tip, that is maintaining a positive attitude, right? So it doesn't matter if you are with a person or not, the importance of maintaining a positive attitude, right?
Yes, yes. If you're always positive, everybody that's around you is going to be thinking the same way that you are. So you want to surround yourself with positive people. You don't want to surround yourself with negative people. In America, we have a name for them. We call them Debbie Downers. And a Debbie Downer is someone who is always down, always sad, doesn't have anything good to say. And when you're around her, you become just like Debbie. You become down. You become sad. You take on her feelings. And so you don't want to be around people like that. You want to be around positive people who are always talking positive and doing positive things.
And it's so interesting that to mention this, Sammy, too, because to me, last week I started a new exercise for myself. That is, for every time I catch myself complaining about something, I bring something that I'm grateful for. So we don't even realize how much we complain. I'm like, when I watch someone and then I said, I don't complain that much. I'm gonna do this, but I don't complain that much. But then when you put it down, you can see that you a lot of times you end up complaining a lot. So how do you find things to substitute that? You know, so if you're complaining about, today's it's not raining, but let's say that it's raining. It's raining and it's a bad day, and then you see yourself saying that, you can, switch that to saying, wow, I'm so grateful that I have eyes to see the rain outside. So important things for you to implement in your life to kind of like let go of the negativity, right?
Yes, very important.
Oh, Gabby said, I'm happy I am surrounded by you guys, super positive women. Yes, we have amazing positive women at Approach. I feel very, very lucky.
We really do. Yes. You also want to learn what triggers your anxiety. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be school, or it could be something else that you can identify. And so you want to try to figure out what it is that's triggering your anxiety. And the best way to do that is by keeping a journal. And so when you're feeling stressed or anxious, look for patterns and write them down. And so then when you're feeling that way, you can always go back to your journal and say, wow, I was feeling like this because of this reason. And so that will help you also to manage your anxiety. And you always want to make sure that you talk to someone, tell someone what's going on. We keep a lot of things inside of us, and by keeping it inside, we don't fix the problem, we make the problem worse. And so you want to talk to your family or your friends if you're feeling overwhelmed. Let them know how you're feeling. You believe it or not, once you talk about something and you get it off your chest, it usually makes you feel that much better. Right? Yeah. And so it can de-escalate by just having someone to talk to.
And this tip is so interesting, Tammy, and it really connects to a podcast that I was listening to last week on anxiety. And on the podcast, the psychologist was saying how important it is to learn what triggers your anxiety, exactly what you said. Yes. And sometimes we don't even know when we have a hard time identifying. Why is it important to know what triggers our anxiety? And, it's kind of connected to what you said too, to let other people around you know also how they can help you. So maybe something that triggers my anxiety is, I don't know, let's give it an example.
You have to take a test.
You have to take a test. So that triggers your anxiety. So you identified that that's something that triggers your anxiety. And then once you identify, you can either look for help or talk to a friend about it, and let people around you, or maybe even your teacher, right? If you have test anxiety, important to communicate.
Yes, very important.
And it's empowering once you're able to identify that, to overcome that behavior.
Another thing that we get overwhelmed with is there's a lot going on with COVID-19, and slowly but surely the governor is starting to reopen Massachusetts, and that's very stressful because it affects us. And so we're at phase 2, and so he's saying that we can start to do some of the things that we normally would do. We want to get back into the office together, but what is that going to look like? And so that could stress us out and have us worried about something that we don't even have control over. And so if we can't control it, we just have to go with the flow. We have to know that the people that are in authority, they're going to do the right thing. And we just have to follow suit. We just have to continue to do what we're told to do so that we can get back to normal.
Yeah, that's such a pressure piece of advice, because it really is, right? Focus in what is within your control, because what's outside you can't really control. So that's such a pressure piece of advice, Tammy.
Yeah,
thanks for sharing that.
Control. Yes.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So Tammy, what do you think if we do a very quick breathing exercise? Very simple and quick.
Go ahead.
Let's do it together.
Okay.
And if you guys are watching us, try to do this together. It's going to be very simple and quick. And you can do this every time you start feeling anxious.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned before, when your exhale is longer than your inhale, what usually happens, you're sending signals to your brain that you need your body to relax. So let's try to do this. We will inhale in 5 and exhale in 7. And I'm going to count with my fingers. And if you want to count with your fingers too, good. Because remember what we said, you're giving something your brain to think. So let's do it 3 times. Very simple, just so we understand how it is. Ready?
Okay.
Are you guys ready? I hope you're ready. Okay, so inhale in 5, exhale in 7. Let's start. Inhale in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Inhale in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job.
Yes.
So,
very good.
this is something that you can do, that it's available to you. It's your breath, right? A lot of times we breathe without even noticing that we have the blessing of breath and to have healthy lungs that can do that.
Yes.
Well, so I hope this was helpful to you guys. I hope you now. Yeah, this video will also be up on our YouTube channel and our Instagram Live. So if you want to go back and watch it again, feel free to do that. And yeah, thank you so much for being here with us today, Tammy.
Thank you
for being with us. I hope you enjoy your week.
Thank you. You too, Luciana. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too.